Hello and welcome to the Finding Speed League UK Tour live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Jim Hodgson, Sam Kumo operating the cameras tonight. And we're here for round 4 of this UK Tour. It is the penultimate round of the championship. And Jim, it could well be a renewal of some of the familiar battles we have seen this season. The two Rose brothers have been incredibly close. Billy Fletcher is back as well, and there could be some very good, strong opposition as well tonight at this jewel of the country. It is Norfolk. It is Snetterton, the best county in the country and in Europe and in the world. Really, it's very nice to be back here. It's at Snetterton.
Is it in Europe though?
Oh, this is a non-political broadcast. We're not going to go down that route.
Honestly. All right. I cheerfully withdraw. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the race today. As we can see, Vimbo already throwing down the gauntlet, as it were. As you recall, no doubt, he just hit a Hail Mary home run at the last round and managed to put himself on the top of the timing tower during qualifying. Was not able to really turn that into results during the race so much, unless you consider deacceleration to be a result. But yeah, I'm excited to see how things turn out. We have had some fantastic racing in this series. I have no doubt that today will be the same, especially since we got a new car on track.
2 new cars on circuit.
Yeah,
We've got the BMW M4, isn't it? It's the M4 out on track, and then also the Lamborghini as well. So some fantastic additions to the field. The Z4 unfortunately dropped, so that's not going to be available for these drivers to use anymore. But the M4 is available, and the Lamborghini. So everyone's been given a free car change. So drivers who weren't even using the Z4 in the first place are now able to change their cars to whatever they like. It's a completely free change for these final couple of meetings of the season. So maybe could be a little bit of a change of the pecking order. I do know that the Lamborghini is competitive, maybe not necessarily the fastest car, and of course drivers still trying to figure out the setups, and particularly the BMW only being released, I believe, this week. The drivers wouldn't have got the most out of it, but hopefully we'll see some competitive driving out there as we see some very competitive times, very confusing around the circuit. The reason why you got drivers 7 seconds off the pace is because the pit lane and the start-finish line are coordinated a bit weirdly. The drivers will pull out the pit lane, and whilst they're channeling down the pit lane, they'll start a lap, and then they'll get out of the pit lane, so that out lap counts as a lap. So that is why the times are a little bit weird at the moment, as we see quite a big off there for Rose, and we'll have to tow back to the pits there. He's got pole position, but that's not exactly how Aaron would have planned his first 4 minutes of the session.
No, certainly not. And I think he was probably on a relatively decent lap there, although he was tucked right up under the rear of Knight's car, it looked like. And I believe I saw Knight struggling just a little bit to control the car on track out. It seems like it's maybe he's not quite used to the power delivery in that particular machine. I believe he's in the BMW. There he is. But we'll see how the race develops. As you say, not quite as much time to get familiar with this car as some of the others. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, certainly will. Of course, it's a very tight, twisty circuit around Snetterton. It used to be quite expansive. It used to be almost like a speed train with the old layout where you went through a very quick turn 1 and then through the bit slower turn 2, albeit you had a bit of concrete runoff, as we see Davis skating off the circuit there. And then, of course, you had the long back straights, and even this part of the circuit used to be a little bit quicker than what it is now. A lot more complex now. Of course, you got the new infield, which was installed coming up to 10 years ago now, and that does slow down the car slightly. So it will be a very good test for the new car's handling, undoubtedly. Also, the cameras are a little bit different. The cameras aren't too bad. iRacing not doing too bad a job with these cameras. I don't mind these. But at the moment, it has put Jack Knight into 3rd position. It is the 2 Rose brothers on top. and they have really been the class acts of the field so far, and have really dominated this championship. I mean, when Billy Fletcher has been around, he's been able to get pretty close to them, Jim, but on the most part, it's been the two Rose brothers who have been the ones to beat.
Yeah, certainly. And we've had some other drivers able to kind of hang on, haven't we? If not necessarily hang on all the way to the finish line. But yeah, I mean, just hard to beat these guys. I mean, you get the sense that they really put the time in. They really know what they're about. And that's kind of the name of the game.
Yeah, they've been really formidable so far this season, and yeah, looking to keep up that domination. And so far, they are keeping up that domination because they are nearly a second clear of the rest of the order. It's quite a long lap. It feels weird to think that Snetterton's a long lap. I mean, I was very young when the extension was put in, but it's still weird to see over 100-second lap times when on the shorter lap, you could probably get it under a minute in these cars. Billy Fletcher moves himself up into third position, but not getting too close to his teammates. Here is one of the cars competition cars. Congratulations to cars competition. Won the amateur championship in the Apex Racing League GT Team Championship last Sunday. Which was a very good achievement. It wasn't quite the perfect race to end off their season. They had a few issues, but they still comfortably got the points that they needed. So congratulations to them. And at the moment, it's not been too bad a qualifying session for them. We've got Knight up there in 4th place, Chancer up in 8th. And we wait to see what Vinbo can do. Of course, Pole Sitter last time out at Donington with a phenomenal lap. I was shocked that he managed to take pole position. At the moment, only in 17th, so watch out for him to climb up the order.
Yeah, a pretty heroic lap from Fletcher there to split the distance between Aaron Rose and the Knight car. You know, bettered Knight's time by a pretty good bit.
Clear, 410's clear. Knight's just gone off the circuit again, so you'll have to go back to the pit. Still plenty more time to go. 11.5 minutes of the session remaining. I wonder if you could just get the time of day up on screen. I believe this is the morning, and so it will be no. It's wow. Well, again, I forget that our brilliant league admin, Russell Barnes, puts in the actual time, dates, which is fantastic. It's really great for us because, well, it's not the actual date, we're a few, but it is close to the actual date, much closer than the 15th of May, which is the standard iRacing day, and that's why it's quite so dark out there, quite so. I don't really know how to put my finger on it, but the sun is certainly a lot lower than what it otherwise would be. It'll be getting quite dark by the end of this one. I mean, we're going to be ending this race in about 20 past 4, and as a resident of Norfolk myself, even in late November, it's not particularly light out there, so the driver's headlights will probably be in quite pivotal use by the end of the by the end of the race.
Yeah, and some cars have a little better illumination than others, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, the Lambo is blinding. Whoever's got the Lambo behind them today, you know that annoying flashing light in Formula 1, which must drive the drivers mad. Yeah, that's what the Lambo is going to be like, because they've got, look at that in the foreground. Absolutely beams out. It's like the sun driving around the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, cars still pounding around. I wonder what, it looks like Knight has been into the pits. Oh, that's a pretty scary pass there. Knight just coming out of the pits, it looks like. I wonder if he has changed a setup or put on some tires. Still got plenty of time to try to better his time, doesn't he? And with a second, nearly, you know, a second between himself and Fletcher, you'd think he might be able to, you know, you'd think he might be thinking, I can do better than this. Or maybe he's regretting his car choice.
Maybe. Well, he's got to be learning stuff, and often, you know, if you're matching your pace within a week, that means that the car's got a lot more potential. I'm not even sure if they've got a good setup on. Of course, you have many different setups available, and of course, Finding Speed is a good place to get setups from, and that's why kind of we got this event on. And of course, if you're watching along on the Finding Speed YouTube channel, well, thanks for tuning in. And if you're Finding Speed, check out on their YouTube channel. Give them a subscribe, just check out some of their videos because the drivers have access to the setups developed by Russell Barnes, who has proven himself this season to be a very competitive driver, and he provides setups and also tutorials. And also for Season 1 2021, which has already started, we're in week 1 at the moment, Russell is doing track guides for IMSA in the BMW M8, and also an in-depth video guide, and drivers can download a free setup and also download the Ghost Lab files as well, so you can drive directly against Russell's personal best time. And so if you want any of that, go to findingspeed.com, check out the YouTube channel as well, and yeah, you can probably find yourself some speed and yeah, get a bit more performance out of your iRacing, as Bembic has a big old slide, and that'll be the end of his lap. And once again, tow back to the pits, get some new tyres on. Lewis Rose puts in the fastest lap of the session. Meanwhile, he was only fastest by about 2/100ths of a second. He's now pulled massive 1.5 of a second over his brother, but on and out lap himself, he'll try to be responding straight away.
Looks like Fletcher might have had an off as well, just going by the red number next to his name there. And Vinbo drags himself up from the bottom of the timing tower to P6. I'm sure he'll want to do better than that.
I'm reluctant to count out Vinbo because he was in that similar position, wasn't he, last week, and then managed to come up with something spectacular at Donington, but 1.3 seconds would be a big gap to recover for him, as we see Lewis Rose out on track, trying to better his time again. It's not a particularly good sector 1 there. You can see he's just pulling off to the side. He knows that he's not going to speed. So back to the pits. No point in wasting time driving back to the pits. Take back to the pits and then get some new tyres.
You know, I don't want to count Vinbo out, just as you say, because he was able to put in such a heroic lap last time we all got together. As you know, of course, here we see his number go red as he's lost the track. You almost feel like he's just every corner just throwing it in as hard as he possibly can, and all he needs is one lap where he hits every single corner in a string. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, I think for Vinbo, you know, a lot of corners here at Snetterton.
Yeah, it's tricky to have a perfect lap, and really narrow as well. This track very flat, the camber doesn't help you out too much. So it will not be easy whatsoever, and particularly down the back straight into Gruntle, it's particularly tricky to thread the needle through that on your lap. Got a lot of pressure on yourself after already completing most of the lap. It's yeah, it's certainly a lot easier said than done. And Rose is currently on a lap. He's just approaching the line. It's been a decent lap for Aaron. No personal bests, I believe, but it's been solid as he crosses the line and was not far off. He's 4/100ths of a second slower than his personal best lap, Rose, and only 0.2 of a second off pole position. So that was not a bad effort by any means, but you can see he's already, apologies saying this is Rose, still going to go for another lap then, and this might be his last attempt, unless he can tow back to the pits, but actually goes off the circuit, spins off again, and will tow back to the pits, and he will get a couple more efforts in to try to clinch that, what could be very important pole position.
Yeah, just one of those corners where you really want to leave that momentum in there and fling the car around, but if you dip a wheel, as he did, then you're going to have an off-track excursion.
As we see Occo Ranzel, 4.6 seconds off the pace at the moment, but sticking with the series and usually finishes as well, does Occo Ranzel. May have got his first points last time at Donington as well. 100, not 100% sure, top 20 get points, and with a slightly diminished field, as one would expect in any league, and also with the fact that it's Snetterton, which is far from the driver's favourite circuit. It is understandable. However, I'm sure we'll see a few drives back for Silverstone in a couple of weeks' time for the season finale, and that'll be on the 2nd of January next year, 2021. And of course, that'll be a night race as well. Not even sure if Silverstone's got night lighting, but that'll be a cool event around a very fantastic circuit, which really fits these cars very well.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about that. I can't wait to see that. You know, this track is so challenging, but that final corner with that, it's got that sausage curb exactly where you don't want it to be, doesn't it?
It is really tricky, yeah. And also the exit as well. Literally, if you dip a wheel onto the grass there, you're gone. You're spinning with traction control or not. You're out. So you're absolutely right. That final corner, Murray's, is extremely tricky to get right. It used to be a lot different. It used to be quite a nice, quick right-hander, then a short straight, and then to a very awkward chicane, which I was much more fond of than the corner that they have now, because you can't really overtake around that corner anymore. Albeit when you do go and overtake, it is very spectacular there. Yeah, slightly. Wow, yeah,
Sorry,
that 4th place.
Yeah, just put himself into 4th place. Well done to him.
Tapio with a good result last time. I think he got. Did he get 4th or 5th last time? I might have to check the scores. But he's into the pits. Still got Aaron Rose out on track. He has put in, but he hasn't set a first sector time yet. Ooh, that was a little bit off. That's going to be the end of the lap. So he will just have to slow down and prepare for one last attempt, I think.
You know, I love about this series that we get a nice long qualifying, so we get to see everybody sort of getting used to the car. You know, in some other series, they're, you know, I mean, people don't have unlimited amounts of time, so I certainly understand, but I do love this nice long qualifying.
Yeah, it's nice to yeah, broadcast it all as well. And yes, we see how the session changes. Transfer improved on his last time. He went up to 7th position. Pedersen or Peterson, we're still questioning. Oh, good lap from Jackson, actually. That moves up to 15th place. Pedersen stays in 14th. I think Jackson, he still seems to be pushing a little bit through turn 1. And yeah, 2.2 seconds off the pace. Quite a field spread for tonight, seemingly, which is understandable. And one of the longer laps that we visit this season, and possibly the most tricky lap, and also a circuit that these drivers will not visit too much, especially in these GT3 cars. Aaron Rose is also just crossing the line, I believe, to start his final lap. So here we go. This was all or nothing then for Aaron Rose. In order to try to get pole position, he needs to find 1.5 tenths of a second.
Yeah, 2.99 miles. So just shy of 3 miles. That is a very long track. Just gives you an idea of how fast these cars are going on the straights. You know, I mean, at a sort of similar lap time to a track like Road Atlanta, which is only, you know, 2.5 miles. Those straights are really fast.
First sector for Rose coming up. In fact, I think it's already in the bag at 33.15. That's not particularly good for Aaron Rose. He's going to need to find something inspirational for the second and third sectors. The track should be getting faster, should be getting a little bit cooler out there, but at the moment just lacking that ultimate speed, albeit that looked very good. It looked like he was using every centimetre of the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm unfortunately not seeing a whole lot of green on the timing tower, so it doesn't look like Aaron Rose is bettering his sectors as he goes along. But I do like the... oh, taking a lot of curb there. I do like the idea of finding something inspirational, though, that puts a very nice spin on it.
Oh, he's leaving absolutely nothing. His Aaron Rose maybe a little bit ragged. I think he maybe overshot the hairpin slightly at the start of the lap, and then taking a bit too much curb as well later on, and in fact he knows that he's not going to improve. I think he was about 2/10 down in the first sector, maybe a 10th down in the second sector, and so couldn't improve. Here comes John McLennan. You can also see there no personal best sectors so far for him. Can he find anything through the final corner? Misses the apex. At least he avoids the curb, but sure he would have liked to be a little bit tighter than that as he approaches the line, and it's well short of an improvement at 50.9 to finish off the session. And that is everyone with their qualifying laps complete, and it is the Rose brothers this time. The pole has gone to Lewis Rose driving the Lamborghini. I think that's testament to how quick the Lamborghini seems to be out of the box.
Yeah, well, the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? Or in the Barolo, I guess.
I'm trying to think of some Delia Smith recipes. Now, do you know who Delia Smith is?
I do not, but I like the sound of recipes.
Yeah, well, she's one of Norfolk's most famous people. She pretty much owns Norwich City Football Club, which is a tiny club, and yet we do astonishingly well. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a Norfolk reference. I'm not too familiar with her culinary expertise, however, so I can't make a joke out of that. But it's certainly.
Well,
But I think the session now ticking over. Qualifying is complete. We can take you through your grid then for this round of the championship. I think we've got a full formation lap. Yeah, I think they line up on the back straight actually. But it is Lewis Rose. Oh, that's not even on the back straight. I have to get on with this. Lewis Rose on pole position. Aaron Rose in second place. Billy Fletcher closed that gap. It was 3.5 tenths in the end. Historically, Billy has been just a couple of tenths slower than the two Rose brothers so far this season, but I think he'll be quite close. Emil Vinbo, very good qualifying again, best of the rest behind the Luxem 24 drivers, so he lines up in 4th. Chris Tapio, another good qualifying for him, in 5th. Jack Knight lines up in 6th. Then it is Mark Tranter making a good qualifying for cars competition because EJ O'Donnell Lyons was in 8th place. That's 4 cars competition cars up in the top 8. Then it was Stein Van Nylen, Adam Groves, Igor Bembick, Robert Lancaster, Max Christiansen, Ole Pedersen, Matt Jackson, Jim McIntosh, Luke Davis, Dan Okoranza, John McLennan, Braden Coates, Russell Barnes, of course starting from the back, and Alexander Roggenbuck, who will be taking the start. Roggenbuck once again not taking part in qualifying, but he will be starting from the back in 22nd place.
Yeah, I'm sad to see some drivers are not with us today. As you say, a little bit of a light field, but maybe Snetterton isn't everybody's favorite, as you mentioned, but I know that we're going to have a great race today. I mean, 22 drivers, nothing to sneeze about. 20 drivers anyway, taking the grid.
I think it's full 22 taking the grid,
all right.
which is great to see. And we have had very good turnout so far, so the Porsche pace car moves away from the order, and I'm loving the Lamborghini. I mean, it's just something about kind of those streamlined GT cars. We've seen it with the C8, looks spectacular. I think the Lambo looks spectacular as well. It's nice to see a few of them up in those top positions on the grid, as just Fletcher having to catch up a moment. They need to make sure that there's no concertina effects, almost some contact there. Going very slowly are the drivers, really holding up the order. And the teammates nearly coming together, but it is Lewis Rose from the pole position, Aaron Rose alongside him. Aaron was slightly ahead at the green flag, but they get into order now, and we are away racing for 1 hour of action here at Snetterton. And it is a 1, 2, 3, 4 Luxem 24. Good start for Tapio. He's already got past Vinbo then, so that odd side of the grid did seem to have a slightly better launch. Tapio maybe even having to defend from those line of cars competition cars behind, but has been able to hold on to that position. Meanwhile, good start for Matt Jackson up a couple of places. He's up into 13th. McLennan is up into 17th with 2 places gained. And also Luke Davis with a little bit of a poor start down to 20th from his start, putting place of 17th. But good driving from the guys out there. Can be a trouble spot, the chicane, but we have seen some trouble now at the next chicane, and that is Max Christiansen, who has had a spin I'll have to turn off the traction control and do a 180 there. Matt Jackson, who had a really good start, like I said, up a couple of places, maybe going for one more place there, but he has been involved in a collision.
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, these things can certainly happen. Terrible to see, but at least there's plenty of racing left to go, so plenty of time to get things together and turn it into a race once more.
Yeah, plenty of time to bring it back. Of course, mandatory pit stop in this race. So, yeah, certainly recoverable for everyone there. Lewis Rose just making a small gap. It will be tricky to overtake around this circuit. Whenever I've raced around here, I found it very tricky. It is easy to make mistakes, but really to stay within half a second is difficult, as we might see a change for the lead. And that's a little bit of a curse, but it's quite a happy one, because we have seen a change for the lead. It is Aaron Rose who now takes the lead, and Lewis Rose making that mistake at the final corner. I said earlier on, if you dip a wheel onto the grass there, it's easy to make a mistake, but he was well off the circuit, half the car off the track, and that is a very, very unusual mistake, and it could be a costume.
Yeah, as we see Vinbo pass for place here for P4, but then dips a wheel, just as you say. Boy, these narrow English tracks, huh? But yeah, I mean, you can't really call it dipping a wheel if your entire car is in the next county, can you?
Yeah, old car in Suffolk there. As Vinbo losing that position then, and yeah, Tapia holding on to 4th place. So, well, I was saying how there wouldn't be any overtaking. We nearly saw some overtaking for some lofty positions there, but Tapia has a big slide. He might be able to hang on to this one. He's lost it again, and he's surely going to take out one of them. Yes, he does. He might even take out 2 of them. And that was just unlucky for Vinbo, who had to just hope that Tapia wouldn't come across him. And that is a massive shame right there for Vinbo, who well, pretty much got that move done himself, but he's lost out. Here comes Tranter, going for his best result of the season. He's going to have to go the long way around his teammate, but he does the wise thing and stays behind.
Yeah, unfortunate series of events there, and it just so happened that the layout of the track was such that Tapia's car, as it was out of control, gliding across the grass, you know, of course, it's just like ice, but more slippery, and then just slid back onto the racing surface, and, you know, nothing that the Kairos cars could do there. So, yeah. Funny, though, that we saw, you know, Vinbo making a pass on Tapia, then losing it for a mistake, and then sort of the same thing happened to Tapia there, as we see Aaron Rose put in the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, you know, these things happen. These guys are racing hard, but again, plenty of racing left to go. There's Vinbo, just stopping off for some aero that is more car-shaped and less shaped like a wadded-up piece of paper.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get that faster pair added to the car. They do get one faster pair in this championship, but I don't think you'll be able to get to the end. I think the drivers are limited on fuel, and so you will have to make another pit stop from this. So Vinbo, who has been quick in qualifying, as we saw in the Apex Racing League GT Championship, just struggling though when it comes to the races. You know, a little bit of bad luck and a couple of mistakes as well. But certainly we'll be looking for a good result at Source, and certainly that breakthrough podium most likely will come at some point. Meanwhile, Breeding Coates, battling with Russell Barnes, who was up to 13th place, and we've seen some impressive gains from Russell so far this season at the various rounds, but this might just take the win, because he's up 8 places, and we're only on lap 3.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see Barnes' camera on again this week. He's got a smile on his face. Looks like he's enjoying himself. Pleased to see that. Did not have his camera on last week, so we weren't able to enjoy his sort of facial reaction. It's like a continual... He's doing a reaction video as he drives the course.
Yeah, getting the Murray's once again then, Russell, and he's got a few cars in front of him who I think he'll feel quite comfortable about battling. You know what? I mean, 4th place even could be an opportunity. He's only 9 seconds off Jack Knight, who's got a bit of a queue behind. It seems like Mark Tranter is slightly faster than Jack and I did say to Mark, you know, come have a chat with us after the race when we were broadcasting the Radical series yesterday. Ooh, that's a bit of a slide for Trenta as he glitches out. He's all right. So hopefully if he has a good result, he will have a talk with us, but they are a long way off the Luxem 24 cars who have sprinted away so far in this event. Groves look pretty aggressive down on the brakes, trying to get past Van Nylen. It wasn't quite on, but it's good to see this chasing pack. Oh, very competitive. We've got about 8 cars separated by about 4 seconds at the moment, as we see Coates off the circuits, and well, that's almost into Cambridge there for Braden Coates. He's a long way off the track.
Come on, Coates. Having trouble getting it back on, isn't he? There you go.
Lost a bet.
Good man, Coates. Yeah, you know, I would like to see, just because, you know, I like them, I would like to see a good result from Team Kairos. They've had some unfortunate luck, haven't they? So maybe today is the day. Another fastest lap of the race out of Aaron Rose, though, at 1:46.2.
Yeah, they seem very evenly matched. Sometimes the qualifying pace hasn't quite been a good indicator of the race pace for the Luxem guys, but tonight it seems like they are just dead even. You know, 7/10 of a second that's been averaging, and pulling away slightly on that last lap. But on this lap, Lewis has been able to close the gap a little bit, I think, so far on this tour. So it's looking pretty good for him. Also, shout out to iRacing, who I'm sure are listening along. But they've only put 3 sectors for this circuit, which is lovely, because a few years ago they would have probably put about 9 sectors on this. It had 5 seconds per sector. But instead we've just got the 3, and it does help us a little bit because divides the circuit up quite well. Yeah, it's about, oh dear, yeah, that's there's no barriers around this circuit. You just go up into a field, and that's what's happened to Emil Vinve here. Or is that Coates? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he might have hit an alligator out there. Oh dear. Yeah, Coates placing his Audi in the swampland. I think he maybe got a little bit of help from Vinbo there.
Almost going off into the scary tree, which you will see occasionally on the outside of the hairpin. I'm not sure if there's many good views of it, but you'll be able to see it on the straight off a very scary tree, hence the name, which unfortunately was blown down by a storm a couple of years ago, and I don't think it's been quite resurrected yet, but lives forever. A bit like the oak tree at Virginia International Raceway. You'll just see it in the background there. There you can see a figure-shaped tree. Christensen has gone back to the pits, unfortunately, turning back to the pits right there for the car number 69. So may not be taking part in the rest of today's action, as the Lamborghini goes down the inside and Van Nylen can't quite get past, but that was extremely close. Playing it a little bit cautious there was Van Nylen, but he's looking good to get past the 2 cars ahead of him.
Yeah, I would certainly expect to see more fireworks out of this group. There's definitely some drivers in here who are, shall we say, not afraid to get their elbows out if it means making a pass for place. So yeah, I would definitely expect to see some more of that. Was that Tapio getting a little bit loose there on the out of that corner again? Interesting to me that the Rose brothers appear to have, well, they've got nearly 4 seconds on Fletcher, don't they? We see him, he's kind of out there all by himself with the Roses just in the distance. I think we'll probably see that gap continue to grow, because I think he's just far enough back that he's not getting as much draft. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of been the story of Billy's season. He's really kind of fought for the race wins, but he's kind of just been, you know, keeping them honest on the most part. But I don't know how teammates can be so gracious. You know, when he surely just wants his 2 teammates to crash into one another right now. And I realise that he wants the team to get a knock out of the podium, but you also want to win yourself. And so I'd be egging them on to go hit one another, but we'll see. We will see. Really tricky to tell who is the faster out of these two, because like I said, it can be tricky to kind of get that gap under half a second. There's a little bit of wake behind these cars. As McLennan is off the second. He's actually reached a tyre wall there, which is tricky to do around this circuit, and is back on his way. He's behind Vinbo, who's already made up a few places after that untimely pit stop.
Steady on, McLennan. Uh-oh. What's going to happen here? Stein Van Nylen is maybe going to try a pass. We'll get together too wide there.
I like these battles though with Van Nylen. He's having to try an alternate method to get past O'Donnell lines right now. It's not a case of just, you know, do the standard thing. He's got to be creative in order to get past, and I think that hairpin's going to be the best opportunity for him, as Lancaster is now off the track. Plenty of mistakes for these drivers so far, and he's actually just found himself behind his RPM Racing teammate Jim McIntosh now. Lancaster now down one place from his start. It's strange to see Lancaster a little bit further down. They're usually running up in the top 10, and he was running in the top 10 before that era.
Yeah, certainly. A great driver is Lancaster, and we've seen a lot of...
oh, no.
You know, oh, dear.
Lovely curse. Love it.
Ah, well. These things happen to the best of us.
I'm not sure who was going off. I don't know if someone's put some oil down there, but Tapier's gone off that. Someone in front of Lancaster went off. I think it may have been Peterson. I don't think it was Barnes. Yeah, I think it was Peterson who went off the circuit just ahead. So that's a trouble spot. I remember when I think about 5 boosted cars went off there in the Aerial TC Championship. Also, Alcaranza. Oh, Alcaranza was doing so well. He's up into the top 15 with all the issues for everyone else, as Barnes has gone for a move. Oh, he's almost get that one stopped. He's up into 9th position, but yeah, Alcaranza with troubles, and he is down to 19th place.
Well, you said it, didn't you, that was a great place to try to make a pass, as Barnes just got it done on Bembic there in the hairpin. He really let it go and put on the brakes pretty late, did Barnes, but it seems to work out for him. He's got great control of the car. You know, I've mentioned a possibly irresponsible game involving Barnes. He always starts at the back of the grid. But really, he usually moves up quite a bit, and here he is in the points.
He's lost a bit of time to 9th. I think it's probably going to be similar pace to the cars competition cars, maybe a bit faster, just judging on what we've seen so far this season. He was 8 seconds behind. That gap's now up to 11 seconds as Groves is off the track, and there might be another place here for Barnes. Here he comes. Yeah, he'll be past there and has to take evasive action to get past. Also, Groves is going to lose out to Bembic. That's a massive shame for Groves, because he was keeping tabs with Van Nylen ahead of him. But now it's going to be a long way up, and now with slightly dirty tyres. Peterson trying to get past. That's how dark it is out there. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon, probably not even that, maybe 3:15 in the afternoon. It's Northern Hemisphere in late November, getting pretty dark out there. Here comes Peterson actually down the inside. This is not a typical overtaking spot because it's such a fast corner. That's going to be contact. Oh, but it was almost a spin in the end. And nipping through there was McIntosh. He might even have a chance in Graves himself, but he just stays behind.
Yeah, not only did Peterson not make his pass happen, he gave one up, didn't he? Sure, he's annoyed with that, but he's gained 2 places so far over the course of the race. And he's got a great team name, Jazz Festival Enduro Hyper Team. Hard to beat that. Peterson now dropping like a stone.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Like you said, he is a solo driver for Jazz Festival Enduro Hyper Team. It's like one of those teams where you can't decide what to name yourself. So you just put all of your ideas into one name. It barely fits on our screen, in fact, but thanks to him for uploading his profile picture. You can do that by going to sdkgaming.co.uk, downloading the driver info app, and then you can put in your hometown, your profile picture, your nationality, and that will show up automatically on our screens for the broadcast. So certainly do check out sdkgaming.co.uk for that. And of course, they are also the guys who provide this lovely overlay that you are seeing for yourselves. And if you want to do that, you can get a 2-week free trial via the website. I think a link is in the description below for SDK. Trent was keeping up with Knight, but it's anything but now. With Groves making a mistake, however, it is just these 3 cars by themselves, and Trent leading O'Donnell Lines, leading Van Nylen at the moment. Still looks like, I think Trent and O'Donnell Lines are pretty much exactly even, but I do think Van Nylen's got a little bit of pace on the pair of them, judging from what we've seen so far.
I think so too. Oh no! That is O'Donnell Lines losing his car. Yeah. Unfortunate. Oh boy. Barnes forced once again to take sort of evasive action due to a car in the middle of the track. Yeah, O'Donnell Lines will be annoyed with that, I'm sure. But as you were just about to say, I think Van Nylen, I think, does maybe have a little bit of pace on Tranter and O'Donnell Lines. He just seemed to be sort of biding his time there and licking his chops. But now Van Nylen is going to have to deal with. Oh, we had. Did Barnes have a little bit of a mistake there, or did he give that place back to O'Donnell Lines? Hard to say. Barnes is a fast driver and he's a pretty precise driver, but he's not really trying to win because this is his series. I mean, he does so much work and gives so much of his time and effort to make this happen, and it's a great thing, and we love him for that. But also, he doesn't want to set up a series and then be sort of duking it out for the lead of his own series, which I can appreciate.
I mean, that's why I don't race in the series that Apex organised, because I would take home all the silverware, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah. That's why I'm not a Formula 1 driver, because I would be like Hamilton, just winning all the time and getting tattoos.
Yeah, you consider it like that. Yeah. And I don't know why he did let go O'Donnell Lines, though, or it must have been a mistake, because a lot of drivers have made mistakes so far today, and he hasn't let them past. A heck all season they've been making mistakes. Barnes doesn't usually let them go, but well, whatever happened, O'Donnell Lines is now ahead of him, and Barnes is going to have to pull off a move here, and we've seen that easier said than done, and Barnes is usually quite reserved when it comes to the overtake, so I don't think he's going to try anything too risky. Gets a little bit of a draft going into the left-hander. Next up is Hamilton's my least favourite corner on the circuit, because you can see it on board. Kind of just narrows up a little bit. There's kind of only one line. It's easy to pick up a slow down. Bit of a nothing corner, really. Just direct you, and then certainly this corner, Mark Trantone dislikes this final one through Williams in order to get onto the back straight. Barnes just losing a little bit of time there, not using quite all the space on the circuit.
Sam, I wonder if Barnes took a look at the timing of the race and said to himself, okay, I can either let O'Donnell Lines by and I can have somebody to race, or I've got a 9-second gap to Van Nylen, and I would rather be driving with someone than by myself, so might as well just let him pass. I don't know. It's a theory. If he makes a move here, then we'll know that that's not right.
Well, if he gets past him and then lets him go again, then we really do know that he's toying with him. Ooh, that's a little bit wide, but just about on circuit for O'Donnell Lines. The thing is, Barnes could catch up to Tranter and Van Nylen, so it would be strange for him to hold himself up as he goes for the move now down the inside. There's plenty of room. Good driving by these two guys so far. Nearly a little bit of quarter paneling on the exit. But it is now Barnes ahead. And that move was a little bit more tricky than the move previously when O'Donnell Lines had his spin. So Barnes up into 7th place. He's got 9 seconds now to catch up to Van Nylen. That's possible in the remaining time. He should have saved a little bit of fuel as well whilst he was... whilst he's been stuck in the draft of various drivers, so it can still be good for Barnes up into 7th place.
Yeah, great driving. Here we are with Rogenbach. Great to see him back. Joining us, I believe, is that a different livery this week? I can't remember, but great to see him back on track in any case. Oh dear.
Ooh.
So overcooked the corner there a little bit.
He's got a little bit of damage on that car, hasn't he? Not sure where he's picked that up, but still running in the points as well. Knowing Dane Baird as well. Well, Dane isn't even out there today,
He's
is he?
not here today. I know.
Well, that's a shame. Ooh, Alexander, come on. I think he might be commentating actually. He might be doing the Formula 3.5 or the Formula. Yeah, he might be doing the Formula 3.5 today, something. So
I think he's just decided that he doesn't love us anymore. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm quoting a lot from Mark Chenza here, so apologies to Mark, but he was criticising Dane's work rate the other day, and so that is something for Dane to improve, I think. But as a team boss, the cars have been doing quite well. Like I said, they did win the amateur championship in the Apex Racing League GT Championship last Sunday. So yeah, congratulations once again to them. Finished first in two of the races and second in one of them. Also got stuck in the pit lane entry at Suzuka, but we don't talk about that one too much. Peterson catching up to Lancaster, or is that Lancaster actually just getting past Peterson, I think. 4 tenths of a second between them. In fact, actually, Peterson has been catching up by 2 tenths of a second that last lap, and ooh, that's a lovely move to get on the inside. Lancaster with a big slide.
Yep, opened the door, didn't he? And Peterson all too happy to walk on through. Well, we'll know shortly how that came to be if Peterson's able to now get away from Lancaster, but I'm not sure that he's got the pace to do it.
Yeah, he's already pulled out half a second, but Lancaster gaining a bit back in the draft. Now these guys will get too far away from one another. I think the drivers just having to drive, but maybe always made a mistake. There you go. And they change around again. These drivers are now having to drive at about 80% right now because they are struggling with this circuit to keep it within the confines. I wouldn't say this is a massively tricky circuit. I don't know, I think it's tricky to get the maximum out of the car, but I am surprised about the amount of times the drivers have fallen off the circuit so far up to this point. O'Donnell lines into the pits, and this is quite an early pit stop here. He will go to the end of the race from this point, but yeah, that's an early pit stop for O'Donnell lines. Now he'll need to try to get back out on circuit. He should have a bit of clear air there, I imagine.
Yeah, that looks like Tapio coming in as well. Maybe these guys are just thinking, you know, I've had a sort of a slightly more eventful beginning of the race than I would have liked. So maybe I'll go in for my pit, kind of take a moment, relax. Maybe it'll be like a little bit of a dice roll.
I wonder if it might be good for Van Nyland to opt into the pits, because he has been able to admire the rear of that car's competition Lamborghini so far in this race. Might be best for him to go for the undercuts. They've still got Knights only just ahead of them, 3.5 seconds ahead. Their pace has improved a bit since O'Donnell Lyons had his issues. So yeah, might be worth Van Nyland going for the alternative as well. Binbo up into 12th position now, past Peterson. Peterson's actually had an off, it seems. So Peterson, who did gain a place, has made a couple of mistakes in the last couple of minutes. He moves down to 14th place, still yet to make a pit stop. And also Groves just getting ahead of Bembic up into 8th position. That is a place that he lost earlier on when he made a mistake, but he has retrieved it again.
Yeah, Peterson's little mistake there also loses him a place to Jackson as well, in addition to Vinbo.
Nearly at the halfway point. Lewis Reyes has just made a mistake, it seems. He had a bad lap He lost 1.8 seconds that last time round, is Lewis Rose, and that's when you get into the pit stop territory, that is not a mistake you want to be making. He's going to have to put in some quick laps now in order to try to close back up. Yeah, slight mistake there for Lewis Rose. He'll be disappointed with that one, but you can see on the timing tower that gap's gone from 2.1 seconds to 1.8 seconds just since we started watching him. So he does seem perhaps to have a little bit more pace. This will be the best indicator yet so far in this event on what these two's pace is really like. He has got a back marker though to deal with, who is spinning round almost, and well, Lewis Rose having to slow up a little bit, and this is costing him a crucial tenths of a second.
Yeah, that's got to be Knight there, doesn't it? The Kairos BMW. Donald Lyons, excuse me. Thank you, Sam.
Didn't make it too easy for him, did he?
It says his name right there at the top of the of his windshield, doesn't it?
That's lost Lewis Rose probably 8 tenths of a second. And of course, Aaron Rose may have lost a little bit of time there as well, which you may not have seen. But not good news for Lewis. He's lost. In fact, he did actually gain some time actually on that lap, did Lewis Rose. So maybe Aaron Rose possibly had it even worse than him. Gap 2.6 seconds now between the leading two. We're expecting these guys to come in probably about 10 minutes time. Expect these guys to leave it kind of as long as you can, because you want to usually put as much fuel in the car as you possibly can to start the race, because that means that you'll have to take less fuel at your pit stop. And of course, these aren't massively fuel sensitive cars. It's not like, you know, single seaters. These cars are a bit more heavy, and so carrying an extra 20-30 litres of fuel isn't going to lose you too much time, so you want to usually run maximum fuel to start off the race. So I expect these guys to try to get to approximately the 40-minute mark. Fastest first sector, by the way, on this lap for Aaron Rose. The battle's largely calming down at the moment, down the order. Got Jackson and Peterson quite close to one another, and Lancaster and Vinbay. But with a few pit stops already being put in, it's just stalled the on-track battling slightly. Sure, it will return though in the closing stages when all the pit stops do take place. There goes Vinbay up into 10th position, considering that he was about 20th at one point. That's not a bad comeback for him. He's still got one more pit stop to make. He was stationary at his first pit stop for 1.7 seconds. Just stopped, got the fast repair, and was immediately back on his way. So this is a proper race for him at the moment, as Russell Barnes comes into the pits at the halfway stage. So far it's been a very good event for him.
Yeah, nice looking pack of cars coming down the front, the start-finish straight there.
Chris has got a little bit of a queue now behind him, hasn't he? He's got Bembic and Vinbo behind him. Ooh, that's going to be close.
Is that Peterson?
Oh, yeah. Just about. Peterson's really been in the wars today, hasn't he?
Yeah, strange to see the cars door banging like that on the straight, as Peterson has a little step out there, or the rear of the car on the exit of that hairpin. Seems as though he's got it under control now. Snetterton must be fairly lax when it comes to that particular corner in terms of track limits, because just about everybody seems to put the whole car off, don't they?
Yeah, I think they use the grass as a track limit around this circuit on the most part. If you're using the if you're using the whatever you call it, I don't even know what you call it, but the not grass, not curb bits, not track bits either. If you're using that, then I think you're usually all right. Which personally, I'm quite a big fan of. I think if you can use physical deterrence, then you should do. They do get a driving penalty, remember, these drivers, if they do get 17 incidents. I doubt that will be too much of a problem for them here, but when we get to Silverstone next time out, I expect a few drivers to get drive-throughs near the conclusion of the event.
Sam, what was it during this series? What track were we at that had 7 sectors? Was that Oulton Park?
I
just
think
remembered
you're
you were
right.
talking about that a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I know Sebring's got 7, and I think you're right. I think Oulton Park's got 7, and literally one of them is like 9 seconds long. I'm not even joking. It's like a 9-second long sector. I don't know what iRacing were thinking. They're more recent circuits. I mean, this was only added about 3 years ago. The more recent circuits are a lot better, but they were properly crazy back in the day.
I think Vinbo might have just picked up a 1X. Looks like he's doing everything he can to try to get around Groves there, isn't he? And I think in the process of doing that, he might have stuck his car off the track, but it doesn't appear to have affected him too terribly. Or hasn't so far, anyway. Oh, dear. Just took a little too much curb, it seemed to me. I think that was turn 6. And just sort of sent the rear of the car out. And that'll allow Groves to scamper away. I think Vinbo will probably be able to catch him back up again.
Benvik had a poor lap that last time. I'm not sure if you saw what happened to Benvik, but lost about 3 seconds. So it was between those two drivers, but is now just trailing them in 9th position. Deary me, Igor, come on, get back on the circuit. Pedersen's too far behind, he won't overtake him. But that's the first one of those mistakes that we're seeing, and now it's just the rear end guy, as we see Luke Davis with another off. I think that's his 3rd off so far today. Yet to make a pit stop is Davis. So Lancaster overtaking, he already has made a pit stop, so that wasn't properly for position. But Luke just dropping a place there. Still getting darker out there, and I am fearing for us in 27 minutes time, as Davis had another off now. I've got flashbacks to when we were hosting the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 series, and I set up the Interlagos session. So that it literally ended like in darkness pretty much, and I hope that's well, I kind of hope that does happen. In Formula 3, obviously you don't have lights, whereas these guys have got lights and some. You can see them on ML Vinbo are rather excessive. This is an off then for Vinbo. He's overshot the left-hander.
Oh, very early on the power there. Was not. Oh, mercy. He managed to rein it back in. Yeah, it just seemed to me to be very early on the power, which caused him to track all the way out. He's tracked out so far, he went off the track, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky one in these are downforce cars. They produce quite a bit of downforce, and say the faster you go, the more grip you're going to get. So you kind of think, oh, I've got to put my foot down in order to kind of generate that downforce. But that time it was too demanding. For him, he did just go straight off. He's really getting stuck behind there. He's already caught up to Groves. He should come into the pits, I think, Vinbo, because so far he hasn't got past Groves, despite looking about a second a lap faster. Remember, Vinbo already with a pit stop, pitted on lap 2 of the race for repairs, and he's been able to make up that entire gap. He lost about 20-25 seconds doing so. And so that's how much faster he is, but he just can't get past right now.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea. I mean, here we are, just over halfway through the race, so might not be a bad idea to step into the pits there. Grove's certainly not giving it away, is he?
No.
He's had his share of incidents as well.
McLennan off the circuit, the Scottish driver.
Oh dear.
delighted that we're going to get not kills soon. I'm not sure if that news was released the last time we had a broadcast in this series 2 weeks ago. I think it was, but I'm still hyped about it because I mean, to be fair, I feel guilty about being hyped about it because I know that there's some people, Fraser Williamson in particular, and really the not kill, bring us not kill pressure group, who will be head over heels about the fact that not kill is coming to iRacing. But I am quite pleased myself. It will be the first Scottish circuit on iRacing, the sixth British circuit to iRacing, and will be a welcome addition. I'm not even sure if you know what not kill even is, to be honest, Jim. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know what it is, but it certainly has got a cult following.
Yeah, I'm not particularly familiar with it. Road Atlanta being my home track, as Vinbo at last attempts his move on Groves, who's going to try to come back on the inside of turn one, but can't quite make it happen. Vinbo taking a lot of curb. He'll be lucky if he doesn't come under attack here in the hairpin as a result of that, but he manages to keep it together. And then, of course, here in turn three, this is the exit of turn three, is where we've seen lots of drivers get into trouble. Put a lot of car off of the track there. Yeah, I think of those things. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about that not quite grass, not quite track. You get them at Brands Hatch, don't you? You get them at Nürburgring, I believe.
Oulton Park, I think we had a bit of it. Oh no, Lewis Rose. No, he's all right. He's all right. No, he's not. No, he's not all right. That's a bad mistake. It's nearly cost him second place even, and that is a let-off for Aaron Rose. The gap was maintaining at about 2.5 seconds. Aaron trying to extend that gap. Lewis trying to reduce it, and it has been Lewis then who's made that mistake. The former leader, the pole sitter. And ever since that mistake on the opening lap of the race went wide at that final corner, and it seems like he's done a very similar thing again.
I'm going to suggest, although I have no evidence, that he might have accidentally taken a little too much of the sausage curb there and gotten thrown around. Although I have no firm reason to believe that, other than what happened to me. A little bit reminiscent of the bus stop at Spa, isn't it? The final corner. You know, it's got that sausage curb. Groves and Vinbo still battling it out. Like Groves was having a look on Vinbo, but Vinbo wasn't having it.
That was a bit aggressive there from Vinbo, but I don't think anything that the stewards will have to look into. It would be great to see that replay of what happened to Lewis Rose. He lost those 6 or 7 seconds, as Sam Kuhn doing a great job on the cameras as always, has been able to find us this footage. And let's see if your idea was right. No, it's actually the grass, which is a rare mistake around there. Usually it is the curb, as you say, or the outside grass, but that was before Murray's even started through Coram and just tries to open up the entry too much.
Yeah, it seemed like he kind of lost the rear of the car before he really got well and truly into the chicane there. But, yep, once again, my racing crystal ball has failed me.
Donald Lyons has had enough. Too much to pot on that one. I don't think it lost him too much time. It's just Donald Lyons is in quite a tight battle, I think, with Groves and Peterson and co. Maybe just clear of them, but with that off, he might be near them. Here comes Jackson on Peterson. These two are being locked together. They keep on making mistakes, but then they always find each other on the same bit of circuit. Benbick is similar to these guys, actually. As Trenta comes into the pits, he should be clear of Russell Barnes. Currently, Barnes is the top driver who has so far come into the pits. Barnes, previous to the pit stops, was about 10 seconds behind Trenta, and Trenta already leaving the pit lane. So he is going to be pretty much the start-finish line clear. So easy for the eighth place driver. There he is, out into turn one. took a little bit less fuel as well on that occasion for Trenton. Took 13 seconds worth of fuel compared to everyone else who's pitted, which are more like 17, 18, 19 seconds. Luke Davis did take 14 seconds though, so I think that's just the varying amounts of fuel that the driver started with influencing his pit stop time. Pedersen, despite getting past Jackson again, still being kept honest. Jackson looking a bit faster for JLI Racing. You can see two Ferraris duking it out.
I'm kind of surprised, Sam, that Bembic gave up on this battle and went into the pits. I guess he was starting to maybe getting a little bit nervous about tires and fuel. Here he is.
Ooh, long pit stop. He was stationed for 48 seconds there. Yeah, he must have got a 30-second stop and hold. I can only imagine, because that's an age in the pits. Also, O'Donnell Lyons. I realise that O'Donnell Lyons got a penalty. So both of them have either got an unsafe pit entry here, which I don't think you can do, or just overshot it and sped. Ah, that looks fine. Maybe they took tyres. But yeah, whatever it was a very long pit stop.
Well, he's circulating well now, anyway. He's got O'Donnell Lyons in his sights, looks like.
Would have been close actually between these guys and Chris Tapio, had they had clean stops. O'Donnell Lyons' pit stop was ages ago, so apologies for not picking up on his long pit stop, but yeah, Bembic would have been pretty close to Chris Tapio, who's now 30 seconds ahead of these guys. That's a different postcode. Frankly out there as Rose into the pits, and this is really as far as the fuel goes. I don't expect the drivers to be able to stretch it out a whole lot further than the pits. And so Rose comes into the pits, goes over the weird bumps that we have around this cycle, which isn't realistic. I think it just seems like a weird laser scanning issue from iRacing. Rose stationary though, and will be taking about 20 seconds worth of fuel.
Will Rose. Oh, Knight has gone into the pits. I was just about to muse about whether Rose would come out in front of Knight or not, but given that Knight and Van Nylen have both dipped into the pits, I think that Rose will have no worries there. So now all he's got to do is chase back onto the lead of the race. Simple as that. Here's Vinbo coming on into the pits now.
Yeah, for his second pit stop, Vinbo. Oh, he's overshot the pit lane. It's all right. Oh, that was a great pit entry there for Jackson. Oh, I don't know if he can get a replay of that. He was sideways. I think he got it stopped on the mark, so we'll see how long his pit stop time is. But that was not leaving anything on the table, trying to get close enough for Peterson that he could undercut him. Here we go.
Oh. Oh. Ha ha. Nicely done, sir.
So really unnecessary, tricky pit lane entry, because it doesn't even slow you down. It's not like what Albert Park used to have. Oh, that's deep as well. Surely that's got to be over the pit limiter for Billy Fletcher. He gained car lengths on Lewis Rose there. Maybe it was just Rose being cautious, but that is a dreadful pit entry because it doesn't slow the cars down. It just means that you're probably going to crash occasionally. Oh, and Rose was short of his pit stall, and so surely Fletcher might get ahead here. He's already revving up. He's desperate to go. Here he goes, and he's ahead. Lewis Rose stationary for an extra 2 seconds, and Billy Fletcher, he was about 8 seconds behind at one point. Moves up into second place.
So Fletcher, 4 seconds to Rose. Well, 4 and change, 4.5 to Aaron Rose. We're gonna have a little bit of a race on our hands. There goes Groves into the pit. The last car that had not yet pitted is now pitted.
Ooh, Van Nylen very close to Trenta.
Yeah, he's going to have a little look, isn't he?
Oh, he's going for it. Here we go. Oh, there's going to be contact.
Yeah.
And Trenta spins. It's almost a 370-degree spin there. Almost gets beached on the curb. And he's going to lose out to Barnes as well. Here he comes. No, Barnes is all right. Although Trenta might have a slowdown for that one. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure how to judge that one. Maybe the chopper view would be a good way to view that one, because I wasn't quite sure if Trenta maybe didn't leave enough space, or maybe it was Van Nylen who was just a bit too deep on the brakes and understeered into it.
Well, you know about the accuracy of my racing crystal ball, but as I look into it once more, I feel like that move came from a little bit far away on Van Nylen's part. I think Trenta was well ahead. And that was, you know, at the risk of. I don't love the concept of people saying, "Well, it was my corner," you know, but you know, once you're set in and set up for the corner, somebody, you know, just tries to home run you from far enough away, it's also not good. So my opinion is that Van Nylen might have been a little bit far away, but I mean, we're racing drivers, aren't we? I mean, we're here to have some fun. I'm sorry for Trenta. You know, it just seemed unfortunate for him to be spun around in the hairpin there, and there's a sausage curb yet again on the inside of that. So, you know, he tried to just pull forward and get the car going the right way again, and had to bump up over the curb. Like he's in a Walmart parking lot.
I'm pleased that that the American references I understand.
Peterson on
no,
Jackson.
not meant to do that. And Peterson recently lost a couple of places to Lancaster and Jackson, and I think that was accidental. I don't think he could possibly aim for a move there, but just took way more speed. And there goes Tapio down the inside. I wonder if there's a bit of damage now for Peterson. He looks very shaky going through Coram. As we've got a car slow as well. Oh, Peterson's going to be into the pits. Maybe he has got a bit of damage. Has he pitted already, Peterson? Oh no, I think this might.
Pitted.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he'd already pitted, so yep, going to need something better for Peterson. That is a shame. Tapio moves up a place. Oh, he's absolutely miles off. Don't know what should have gone to Specsavers. Back on his tracks though. Please animate a pit crews, iRacing. Come on, pull your finger out, because many of the confusion so far in this race would be solved. But by animated pit crews would be a nice element. Tapio up into 12th place now. Remember, he started in 5th. He did very well. He was behind Bimbo on the grid. But Tapio came into the pits early. Don't really know what's happened to him since. But that last lap time for Tapio was just slow. It was a 150.7. And they were just not pace quite come the race. Lancaster off the circuit. He seems to be in a good run of form there, Lancaster, but that was an unforced error there.
Yeah. Well, I'm pleased to see that Coates has moved himself back up to sort of 14th. He was running in the rear of the race. Moved himself up to 14th. One of our 3 American drivers today. Faring not well at the hands of the English, Irish, pretty much a sampling of everybody, aren't we?
Yeah. The drivers can choose to have the English flag, whether it's any of the home nations or the British flag. So I'm not quite sure what areas each driver is from, but McIntosh proud to be Scottish, as he should be, in 10th position. You can see a good range. Of course, we've had some Australians out there so far this season. Max Christiansen, unfortunately, out for the race, the only Australian out there tonight. But we have had a couple of Australians take to the grid in recent Browns. I think we've had some South Americans as well, one or two, I think, so far this season. Michael Benvik representing Slovakia, I believe. Why is that Slovenia? Apologies, Icon. I shouldn't have even gone there. Why did I even try with that one? I might have to Google that flag. Yeah, big apologies to Icon.
Yeah, you know, I mean, at a certain point, it's red, white, and blue flags, isn't it? It is tough to keep up on. You know.
Are you Americans proud of having a red, white, and blue flag?
I mean, you know, you've already warned me about making political statements. What do you have to be proud of? I'll tell you. You know, we have hot showers. I can say that.
Nice. Take one of them. No, I'm just saying because I recall going to a sporting event a few years ago, and we were playing France, who also have a red, white, and blue flag, and we were encouraged to dress up in red, white, and blue. And it's like mate, you can't distinguish. There's no point. You can't be proud of being red, white, and blue when half the globe are red, white, and blue. So I didn't know if it was the case with America, but as Tapia, he's going for a move. I mean, nearly red, white, it is red, white, and blue, isn't it? But Tapia as well, with that Norwegian flag. Looks down the inside. He is passed. He's up into 11th place. Good job there from Chris Tapia. He's passed Jackson as Fletcher from 2nd position has had a spin. That's a big mistake there from Fletcher. And Vinbo currently in the pits. That's lost Fletcher a lot of time. Where is Vinbo going to pop out? Oh, apologies. Vinbo's towed back to the pits, I think. So Vinbo's maybe out of the race. Fletcher will stay in 3rd place then. But that is that's a big relief there for Lewis Rose to be able to move up into 2nd place so easily.
So what happened to Vinbo here? I think we're going to see. Oh, he's fallen victim to turn 3 at the out of turn 3, I bet. Yeah. Yep. Oh, dear. Yep. Managed to damage the car at just about every point on the thing, didn't he? Sad to see. And here we are with Fletcher. Let's see what happens to him. Oh dear, dips a wheel the final corner. And off he goes into the weeds.
Yeah, that was the type of incident that I thought we might see a little bit more, but so far it's been quite limited out on circuit. By the way, I believe it is Slovenia. It is Slovenia. So they are very similar flags. I will say. I mean, come on, they are similar flags, but a different emblem on the left side. So yeah, Slovenia, very nice country. I'd love to go to Slovenia one day. In the south of Europe.
Well, as you know, the French flag is bleu, blanc, et rouge. It's not red, white, and blue.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, and then the Netherlands is red, white, and blue. Russia, red, white, and blue, all very similar. And then, of course, Belgian and German flags are similar but rotated. I think Peru and Austria's flags are the same colors, but one is rotated 90 degrees from the other. It's tough to remember them all. But luckily, there's Sweden. Blue with a yellow cross. Easy. Scottish flag, easy.
It's bad that when I see the Swedish flag, I just think of IKEA. You know, that colour combination. I just think, yeah, IKEA. I think Monaco and Indonesia, I think, are the exact same flag. But they just thought that white and red would look quite nice next to one another, and then a few hundred years later they realised, oh dear, we got the same flag. But mistakes can happen. We're seeing McIntosh by himself at the moment, but he is only 9 seconds ahead of Tapio, and Tapio was actually slow on that last lap. I thought Tapio might be catching up, but he's not really. Only 4 seconds actually between the two leaders. That gap was up at 10 seconds at one point, but again, matching each other that last time round, as it does get distinctly dark here at Snetterton. There's pretty much no track lights, and there's barely any infrastructure in Norfolk. We do live in the 17th century, and so we'll be getting pretty dark, but I think we'll escape the worst of it. So, we've only got 5 more minutes of this round 4 of the championship remaining.
Yeah, Aaron Rose just has had it so far well in hand, hasn't he? Some tragedy has befallen Lewis Rose and has befallen Fletcher and Knight as well. Van Nylen so far seems to be sort of acquitting himself well up into P5 as Van Nylen. Must be feeling pleased about that.
Yeah, with a potential penalty after his incident with Tranter, he might escape that one though. And even if it is a 10-second penalty, he might still finish in 5th place. But yeah, that's Van Nylen's just been consistent, hasn't he, this season? I mean, I think he's finished in the top 6 most rounds. And is probably up in 3rd place in the championship. I'm not 100% sure. I think Jack Knights as well has some good results, and Billy Fletcher, of course, has kind of been on the podium whenever he's turned up, but unfortunately missed the last round of the championship. Don't believe there's any drop scores this season, so Van Nylen putting himself into a very good position at the moment in the championship. Just a reminder of why we're here. This series organised by Russell Barnes, who coordinates Finding Speed. And if you are looking to find some speed, do check out the Finding Speed YouTube channel, and also check out the website as well. And for Season 1 2021, for this season in the IMSA Sports Car Series, Russell is going to be doing track guides for the BMW M8. So he's going to be doing an in-depth video guide for each of the circuits on the official series, and you can download a free setup, and you can also download the Ghost Car file as well, so you can go practice directly against Russell and really compare your racing lines to his. And yeah, the Finding Speed YouTube channel produces tips and tutorial videos for iRacing. And also on Finding Speed, Russell live streams his races most Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays at 9:30 UTC. I believe UTC is GMT, pretty much.
Yes.
So yes, certainly do check out Finding Speed, the YouTube channel, and also the website for all of that stuff. And of course, if you're looking to enter any series, we're hoping to get another series of Finding Speed, probably not another UK tour, but maybe a slightly different format up and running in 2021. So very much looking forward to that. Russell doing a very good job himself actually out there at the moment, running in a lofty 7th place. So it is night. I'm saying this is the evening, if not the night right now, because these headlights are illuminating this circuit.
Yes, they are. You can see him sweeping across the track there as Barnes is setting himself up for the hairpin. You know, I was just watching Aaron Rose a minute ago coming through this same part of the track. Well, now we've gone to Aaron Rose. Thank you so much, Sam. Another corner that people have had a lot of trouble with there, turn 9. We've seen a lot of cars go off there, haven't we? But I was talking about just thinking about turn 3, where we saw Vinbo have his issue, and Rose seems to really let that turn in weight on turn 3, doesn't he? I think it enables him to have a lot more control of the car on the out of that turn, which is a spot where we've seen people really have trouble.
Yeah, kind of squares off the corner a little bit, doesn't it? And you need quite a bit of rotation for that to be able to turn the car so quick. But he does it well. There's Scotry, straight ahead. Just had to point that out. Final lap of the race. Final opportunity to see it, so we need to do that. But yeah, you're right. Maybe this will be a good demonstration of it. And it's just looked so at ease. It's tricky to say who was faster, Aaron or Lewis, because Lewis has certainly closed that gap in the second half of this race, but Aaron hasn't had to push. Meanwhile, Lewis has tried to keep his teammate honest. And going into the last round of the championship is going to be pretty close. Not sure who came into this round with the lead. I think they've both taken a couple of race victories so far this, or I think Lewis has taken maybe one race victory so far this season, and Aaron with a couple. And of course, Aaron will win this one as well, so we'll be taking some positivity going into Silverstone. One round the championship, which will be a night race, and hopefully we'll see a few drivers back for that one. But after lining up in second place, missed out on pole position by about a tenth and a half. He stayed close to his teammates and his brother for the first half of for the first lap. When the opportunity arose, he managed to take the race lead, and despite being hounded by Lewis Rose lap after lap after lap, he wasn't the one who buckled. It was Lewis Rose the one who buckled, and Aaron Rose is going to approach the line to win round 4 of the championship. Aaron Rose for Luxem 24 is your winner at Snetterton. Lewis Rose getting that gap down to 2.2 seconds by the checkered flag. He was catching quick by the end, but not enough to pass by the checkered flag. And it will be Billy Fletcher to round out a Luxem 24 1-2-3, I believe, for the second time this season. Congratulations to them. Jack Knight will be the next driver across the line in the Cars Competition car. Very nice drive for him, and Stein Van Nylen will score some positive points in 5th position to help his charge for a lofty championship finish. Yeah, great drive there from Aaron Reyes, you've got to say. Really, once his brother made that mistake, there was no turning back. I mean, it's tricky to overtake this circuit, and Aaron just seemed to have control of that car, some extra control over that car compared to Lewis for the entirety of that 60-minute event.
Yeah, you know, if you are just going by their best lap of the day, there's not even 900ths between them. 146.27 for Aaron and 146.36 for Lewis. So very similar pace. Just came down to that, luck, really, I think. Yeah, very similar pace. But yeah, great race. Unbelievably good, really. Yeah, everybody performed very well.
Yeah, some real nice battles further down the order, particularly in the early stages between Van Nylen and Tranter, which came to a bit of a boil in the end, but that was a good one. And then also Tapio and Jackson and Groves as well, all battling with each other very well. Peterson was in some good battles as well. There is Tranter with his personal best results of the season, I believe. I think he's got a couple of top 10s, but I think that's his first top 6 finish of the season. There's Russell Barnes as well, gaining 14 places, the most places gained by anyone out on track. I think we can go through your final order then for this round 4 of the season. Aaron Rose wins out by 2.2 seconds over Lewis Rose. Billy Fletcher finishing in 3rd place. That would have been interesting, actually, if Fletcher hadn't have made the mistake, whether Lewis Rose would have been able to overtake him. I feel like Lewis would have probably overtaken him, but well, I guess we'll never know that. That's a battle that we were denied, unfortunately. Jack Knight finishes in 4th place. Once he got that 4th place, there was really no looking back. Very nice result for Jack there. Stein Van Nylen finishes in 5th. Then it was Mark Tranter, Russell Barnes, Adam Groves, Jim McIntosh, Chris Tapier, Matt Jackson, Robert Lancaster, Igor Bembick, EJ O'Donnell Lyons, Luke Davis, Braden Coates, John McLennan, Ole Peterson in 18th place. And in 19th place was Alexander Rockenbuck, who I believe scores his first points of the season. Not 100% sure on that, but I believe they are. Emil Wimbo crashed out and finishes in 20th place. He'd already used his fast repair earlier on in the event. And then Dan Okoranza and Max Christiansen finishing in 21st and 22nd places. And hopefully we will have a chat with some of our drivers. They are a little bit shy at the moment, but I think a couple of them will come for a talk with us. A taste of what's to come, really, Jim, with this closing stages. Night's race at Silverstone. Do you think that's going to affect the drivers or affect the broadcast? Because we won't see what's going on. But do you think that will affect the drivers' standards at all? Or do you think once you get a few laps under your belt in those conditions, it is no difference to what's normal?
Well, it certainly is. It certainly would be affecting to me. I mean, I think we're all at least have a passing familiarity with Silverstone, one of the most famous and iconic tracks there is. But yeah, in the dark, relying on your car's headlights, you know, it doesn't take much to miss a breaking point that you think is ingrained upon the very nerves of your body. But you know, if you can't see it, yeah, I think that could certainly throw a wrench into the works. Now we'll have to see, of course, but I'm yeah, beside myself. Cannot wait for that race. It's going to be so much fun. I hope
Yeah,
we have a
because
huge field.
yeah, hopefully we'll have a few drivers return because we started off the season with 35. I do think we'll be over 25, and I realised during this Christmas period in the UK, not exactly a whole lot of moving about at the moment. That's okay, we won't get into that too much. So I guess it's probably not as bad as it has been in previous years, but I do know around this part of the year, you know, people do move about a little bit and have other commitments to do with Christmas, so aren't able to do too much racing. But yeah, January the 2nd, I think will be the final round of the championship, and we should see a few drivers being able to commit to that one. Any drivers who are watching back, you know, if you want to have a chat with us, do click on the description below to join our Discord, Apex Racing TV Discord, and you can pop into the interview waiting area, and we would love to have a chat with you because we've still got a few more minutes, I think, left of the broadcast to fill. But the championship finale will be pretty fundamental for the season victory as well, because like I was saying before, I'm pretty sure both Aaron Rose and Lewis Rose has got a chance, Jim, at taking the title going into that final round. So far this season, you know, they've been finishing in the top two pretty much all the way through the events. So far this season, that those two have kind of been dominating most rounds and haven't faced off the podium too much. But you know, final round of the season, something could so easily go wrong, which could massively sway the title between those two.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's what we saw today, didn't we? Just that slight accident from Lewis, and Aaron was able to dive right through.
Yeah, and I think we have got a few drivers. All of a sudden, they all pop into the waiting area. So we will talk with Aaron Race. First up, congratulations, Aaron. You have got another race victory out there. Yeah, congratulations. I mean, how confident were you after that qualifying session going into the race about your chances of victory?
Yeah, thank you. Obviously Lewis out qualified me, and I knew he's pretty strong at this track, so I thought I'd see how the race went, but I wasn't expecting him to pass him, obviously, on the first lap where he made a little mistake. But yeah, from there on, the Mercedes was pretty consistent across the race run, which really helped to sort of pull the gap in the end. So yeah, pretty pleased with how it went.
Absolutely. Did you think about changing to the Lamborghini at all, or why didn't you change?
So I'd done a bit of testing last week for a different league with the Lamborghini, because obviously the rest of the Luxim team have switched to that car. But I just couldn't get on with it. I really struggled with the brakes. I find it very loose, so I didn't really feel like I had a choice but to stick with the Mercedes. I just feel comfortable with that car. So yeah, that's my impression of the Lamborghini.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. It's worked out well for you tonight. Final round of the championship coming up. I'm not 100% sure what the point situation is. Do you know if you're leading Lewis going into Silverstone?
I think after tonight I will be. I think we were pretty much neck and neck before this Snetterton round, so I think I probably have a small advantage. But yeah, it's Donington, and again, Lewis is very strong now, so yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. Well, we will see you for that final round of the championship then in a couple of weeks. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the Luxim 24 crew. Billy obviously puts on a great show for us, and you guys really. Yeah, really enjoyable racing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Aaron. Congratulations on another race victory. Yes, see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, thank you very much. See ya.
Aaron Rose there, your race winner for tonight. We've got a couple of other drivers winning for a chat. Jim, who would you like to check out?
Well, let's talk to Lewis. We'll just go. We'll go down the podium. There he is, Lewis Rose. You're joining us. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Congratulations on your second step finish of the race. I'm sure you would have liked to see a slightly better performance. Talk us through your race, if you would.
Yeah, so I sort of, with the Lambo, done a fair bit of testing with it because obviously it's new content, picked it up. Probably not quite there with the setup. Ended up, I think, from following Aaron after I did make that mistake early on in the race, which is probably where I lost the race in the end. So put myself under a bit of pressure to continue hunting him down. It's some sort of, whenever you clip the grass with the Lambo, it's a little bit unforgiving. So I had a couple of those thrown in, and despite that, still finished within a couple of seconds. But it was good. Aaron drove pretty much faultlessly, so I wasn't really going to be able to beat him having had a couple of spins. But yeah, it's a challenging circuit. It's a shame there's not more sort of league racing or content here because a lot of people don't like it. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good circuit.
Well, you guys certainly put on a great show. I mean, speaking as somebody who just watched the race, it was a fantastic watch, but a command performance by the team for sure. And I think Aaron did drive very well, and you had that little accident there on the first lap. But in terms of pace, you guys are very close. I mean, down to the hundreds.
Yeah, it was interesting to see really because I think the AMG had the edge on the sort of medium to high speed corners, and then through all the hairpins and tight sections of the Lambo would kind of rein it back in. So it was a bit of an interesting dynamic where I'd catch a few tenths, if not a little bit more, during the first portion of the lap. But then when it would get out to the back section and you've got the long corner core, and I think the Lambo would struggle a little bit. And then particularly under I struggle with stability under brakes into the final left-hander onto the pit straight. So yeah, it was a good chase nonetheless. Enjoyable race.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, like I say, enjoyable for me for sure. How are you feeling headed into the final race, Silverstone? What's that going to be like?
I'm not too sure really. I tried to work out what the point situation was. I think it's probably going to be winner takes all, is it, between the two of us?
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure, honestly. We don't know either. I'm sad to tell you.
I think we've got 2 wins apiece, so possibly whoever gets to the next one, if we've got a drop score, is going to take it. So it could be interesting between probably the 3 of us at Silverstone. I know Aaron's quite good at Silverstone, so that might be another tricky one because the Merc is probably going to be supreme.
Well, anybody you would like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, so Billy, the sort of team manager, if you like, he does a lot of work. I said before, sort of behind the scenes with setups. I do kind of I sort of show up and use the setups that have taken a lot of work behind them. And having done a lot of running at Snetterton, you kind of appreciate the time that it takes to get a setup to where it kind of needs to be, or to where it needs to be competitive. So yeah, so a lot of appreciation for that.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Great race out there. Congratulations on your P2 finish. We will all have our eyes on you at the next race in January.
Yeah, I think it could be interesting.
No doubt about it. That is Lewis Rose there, your P2 finisher today. Great race.
Yeah, it sure was. We're also going to get an interview with our final podium sitter and another Luxem 24 driver. It is Billy Fletcher in for a chat with us now. Billy, congratulations on the 3rd place. A little bit bittersweet there because it looked like 2nd might be possible, but just that tiny mistake through the final corner cost you dearly.
Yes, I was a little bit gutted with that. I'm not going to lie, we've been doing a fair bit of practice, and my pace has been really, really good. But it decided to escape me tonight. All through practice, qualifying, I was slow, very slow. I'm not quite sure what changed. Track conditions were the same, everything else was the same setup, but pace eluded me tonight. But it looked like where I was a bit slow, I maybe didn't use my tyres up quite as hard as Lewis and Aaron, so I seemed to have good pace at the end, but obviously the mistake curtailed that.
I mean, you say that you were lacking pace, but after the pit stops, you were only about 5 seconds, I think, off the lead. You seem to have a shorter pit stop than both of your teammates. Do you know why that is? Did they overfuel a bit, or is that your driving style? You know, what was going on there?
When I was talking to Lewis on the in-lap, I did have more fuel left over than him. I think where I wasn't particularly fast, I had sort of pulled off the wick slightly just to, well, save tyres, save fuel, because I knew I couldn't catch him. And when I pitted, I've been trying to convince the pair of them to get JRT, which is what I use for my fuel calculations. It seems to be bang on every single time. I always save around 2-3 seconds of pit stop time over them two, and I'm trying to convince the pair of them to spend a little bit of money on it, because it makes such a difference in the race like that. As you saw, I was 10 seconds behind Aaron before the pit stops, and after the pit stops I come out 4.5 seconds behind him.
Yeah, it was pretty big time saved right there. You got one more round to go now, and it is, I believe, Silverstone to finish off the season. Night race round there. Does the fact that it's a night race change anything for you, or is it just the same as always?
Same as always with me. I quite enjoy driving at night, so I'm looking forward to the challenge. To be fair, it should be quite an interesting race to finish the season off with.
Yeah, certainly will be. Is there anyone you'd like to give any thanks to, Billy?
Obviously the guys at Luxim, Rob Anthony, Dragon Tools sponsors, Paul Godden, Sim Stickers, Remo, Moody Falls and Solitaire Audio for all helping me and supporting what I do. So yeah, them guys, and obviously to you guys for running such a great league, Russell, etc.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Billy, and we'll see you in 2021.
All right, see you soon. Have a good New Year.
Billy Fletcher there for Luxim 24, finishing a strong 3rd position. So that is the penultimate round of the championship complete. We've got one more round of the championship to go at Silverstone, and like Aaron and Lewis were saying, it will be the championship decider. Potentially winner takes all. We'll let you know going into that round what the championship situation is, because it could be a nail biter between two very evenly matched drivers, and maybe if there's a drop round, Billy Fletcher could get involved in that one as well. So will be certainly one to watch. That will be one of our first broadcasts of 2021. We go on a little bit of a pause over the next week or so during the Christmas period, but we've still got a few series going on. We'll still be broadcasting the Formula 3 and the Formula 3.5 official series next Saturday, and also the Radical official series as well next Sunday, and a few other leagues as well which continue over the festive period. So in order to catch any of that, subscribe to Apex Racing TV and give this video a like so it pops up in your recommended in the future, and also check out Finding Speed as well, especially if you're looking for any setups for the BMW M8 for the IMSA Sports Car Series. Russell Barnes will be providing setups and track guides and all of that stuff on the Finding Speed .com websites, and also the Finding Speed YouTube channel as well. So big thanks to Russell for putting up on this series. Big thanks to the drivers as well for making it another very exciting meeting. We'll be back with you then in 2021, the 2nd of January, for the season finale here in the Finding Speed League UK Tour. We will see you back at Silverstone for a night race to crown our champion. From me, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Jim Hodgson, and from Sam Kume, we say goodbye, and we will see you next time.